your top priorities for representing District 14 and why? You have 3 minutes.
How many of you know Plan A isn't working? It's time for Plan B. VEE. When you think of me, I want you to think of Plan B. Borders, energy, and economy. That's where my focus is going to be. The borders, energy, and economy. If we don't shut down our borders and control who comes across them, we have Al-Qaeda and a lot of other unsavory characters on the border working with the drug cartels, teaching them tunneling techniques, teaching them military tactics, and coming across our border to do us harm. We have to control our borders. Energy. This district is all about energy. There's refineries and chemical plants all over this district. And it takes water to run those factories. It takes water to run our homes. It takes water to run our economy. And water is becoming short. There is a shortage of water. I don't know if you've been aware of it, but we had a drought. And besides just the suffering we had, our homes, our businesses, all need water. If we don't start building some nuclear power plants right now to meet some of our energy needs and to desalinate water, it's going to become a major issue. There's a lot of rice farming across this district. And we understand all these issues. We understand that we've got to have infrastructure to bring those, and we have to have port improvements to bring those cargo ships, those super cargo ships, in to Freeport, Brazosport, Port Arthur. You know, we need to bring these big ships in here, but we need the infrastructure to carry the goods to the rest of the country. So I'm going to be focused on borders, energy, and economy. And I want you to get involved and tell me what your issues are. You can go to iwantmyfutureback.org and tell me what your issues are in real time. So I want to represent you. I'm the only candidate in this race that has been in this race for 3 years. And I want to represent you. I would appreciate your support. Again, John Gay for U.S. House of Representatives.
Thank you, John. Next up, we have Bill Sargent. What are your top priorities for representing District 14 and why?
First thing is reduce spending. And I'm tired of people lying to us and telling us that they're reducing spending. What they're really doing is reducing the increase. We need serious reduction of spending on the federal level. Part of that is a balanced budget. But you know, you can balance a budget by raising taxes. I don't want you to increase taxes. I want a balanced budget based on a reduction of spending. I want a balanced budget, but I want to base things also on a zero-based budgeting process. I would like to see us do at the federal level what we do here in the state. We have a sunset provision. I would like to see every program in Washington sunset. And then we have to go in and look at, does the Congress have the authority under the Constitution to actually act and fund this program? And if it passes that test, then the next test is, okay, what are the benefits, what are the costs? If the benefits don't outweigh the cost, then we don't fund it. We also need to get government out of the way of business and let you do what you do best, create jobs. We see an overreaching regulatory authority now, especially with EPA, but there are others as well. And we need to stop that. We need to pull that back. And look at Obamacare. What recently happened? They're saying, having to do with birth control and the morning after pill and all that. They're bridging the gap between religion and our Christian faith and what they're controlling. But more importantly, they're requiring businesses that have an objection to that to fund it. They have to carry that, they have to provide that service, and that's wrong. This administration is into control, control, control. Amen. And I am into what Barry Goldwater, Ronald Reagan, Jack Kemp taught me, which is the free market economy. If you get the government out of the free market economy, we will see a turnaround of this economy. Because you people make the decisions as to what you're going to make, what you're going to invest, and we need to stop. We need to stop doing it where you can't even forecast 6 months out what you're going to do because they're going to change the rules on you. And we need to stop that. We need to stop big government. And that's what I'm about. I'm Bill Sargent. I'm running for Congress. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next up, we have Mark Mansius. If elected, what are your top priorities for representing District 14 and why?
One of the reasons that I'm running is I'm very worried about what's happening financially in this country. There's one side of this country that believes that we're going to inflate away this debt. There's a lot of rhetoric out on the internet that says a few months ago we're going to live with 4 to 6% inflation. Recently it's gone to 6 and 8% inflation for 5 to 10 years. That means that our dollar and our buying power of those who are on fixed income are going to be severely hurt in this country. There's another alternative, and that's to get our spending in control and to start to work with our businesses. To me, there is no such thing as entitlement from our government. Our entitlement was the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Whatever else it chooses to do, it does to help and benefit its citizens. We're going to have to reform our social programs in this nation if we're going to bring things back in control. My father told me if you have a budget problem and you have out of control spending, you better fix the spending first. And I agree with that. Second on my list is to work with small businesses. We've got to work with our tax rate among our businesses, whether they be large or small. We are out of step with the rest of the world. Most of the places that I read are saying that it's in the 20% to 25% range that we need to move our tax rates down on large businesses. We're going to have to do something for the small business as well. All of this is fine and good when you go to Washington. But you have to remember that times do change. And who gets in control does change. We just saw something that's happened 4 years ago. In our document, the Constitution, there were some very specific powers laid out for the federal government. We have overrun those. Our court systems have supported this overrunness over the years. In the 1930s, we really trampled on things. And the federal government has gotten into a lot of different areas they don't belong. We've got to change how we do things in this nation by changing our Constitution one more time. I think it's a great plan for a state like Texas to gather together the great conservative group that's here, go to their governor, and go to the conservative states that are in this great nation, and to begin a constitutional convention that leaves a couple of very small but significant changes that will change the way we do things in this nation, that will restrict in very good wording what the courts can do, what the federal government cannot do in the name of commerce. This is the only way that I see, as a student of the Constitution, that we can make the change permanent, so that each state can have the right to choose the direction and the way in which they want to go. I'm Mark Mansius. I appreciate your vote.